So, welcome everyone to this kind of pre-Valentine's gathering. I really just felt I wanted to do a part two from last week, which some of you attended. In this series, I'm calling Vital Force, really with this inspiration around how can we participate in shifting our own inner climate of our nervous systems and really all of our systems such that we're not so much in that default survival pace that's really part of our cultural anatomy, but really living more from our presence. So this week, I wanted to honor the heart and really explore with you what it is to live as love, what that might feel like, the felt sense of that, which is really our nature. It's who we are. And I want to kind of pick up some threads that I didn't go into last week, and I'll just do a little brief recap for some of you who weren't here last week. We emphasized really bringing attention, bringing awareness down into the lower body, into the hara, the gut brain, the womb space, and really into some foundational grounding practices and an understanding of how the vagus nerve, the 10th cranial nerve that has its origin from the brain stem and finds its way into the face and the eyes and the mouth and down the throat and into the heart and the lungs and all the way down into the gut brain. And we spoke about this communication system and how this nerve is very much involved in a kind of a bottom-up communication as well as a top-down communication. And in my explorations with really working with the central channel over many decades now, it's kind of funny to say that, I find that for most of us in Western culture, what we're more experienced with and indoctrinated with and trained in is more of this top-down orientation. And so for most of us, what we need to cultivate is more of a relationship with the ground and more of that bottom-up flow of information. And so I tend to like to work with people, usually for some time, in really establishing and cultivating their life force, their awareness, their being down in the lower body. And then what I see is that eventually it's like we fill up the well and we make a good home for that vitality. We befriend it. And then there's a way that it will naturally start to rise. And the heart feels safe to soften as well down into that space. And eventually there's a kind of a core coherence where the heart brain and the belly brain really start to come together in a coherency. And then the head can relax and just receive that more on an intuitive and instinctual level, how we're relating to the world, how we're relating to others, to ourselves. And it's a more trustworthy relationship. So from what I can tell, just studying perinatal psychology and embryology and biology and other kinds of esoteric anatomy, it's really more of our blueprint design to live in a relaxed way in the lower body so that the heart feels safe to open. And then we receive information more on a cognitive level or conceptual level from there. And it's also my understanding from just being in lots of Buddhist practice, meditative practice, that what we call pure awareness, where we're really not about the contents of the mind or the conceptual framing, we're really about just experiencing our moment from pure awareness. It's more about being seated in these lower centers. And it's not about that we don't have a head brain. We very much do, but actually on an electromagnetic field level, our heart is the largest, and then the belly brain next, and the head brain last. So that tells you that the largest amount of electromagnetic neuronal activity is actually happening from the heart and from the belly. So although, again, on a cultural level, we tend to praise the head and cognitive and knowledge, what I'm really wanting to impart with you all is an opportunity to to discover how to relax and befriend these more feeling spaces in the body and let them inform the brilliance of our headspace. So today I wanted to actually work more directly with the heart itself. So we're going to go a bit into some understanding, a little bit. I mean, there's so much I could share about the heart. It's an infinite, vast subject that I love. But I do want to share a little bit just for some context. And then I'm going to take us into a practice, into more of a somatic dive. Just want to see you all a little better. Okay. So I just want to share, the heart started coming to me in a way. I want to just share in a very personal way and just see what it invokes in you. I've mentioned in some other classes, so maybe you've heard me share this. But I was in my very early 20s, and I was just one day literally getting up off a couch at a friend's home. And out of nowhere, I was having a flashback of a past life and dying. And I had this experience of dying and experiencing myself as the movement of my heartbeat. And I went out the back of my heart, like out the back side of the body that I was in. And I was literally watching myself leave the body and falling away from it. And yet there was this awareness that I was the animating quality of aliveness that kept going, that I was the beating of my heart. And so that imprint, if you will, that experience informed me on some level to believe that who I am is the soul that doesn't die when the body falls away, right? And that's actually what's animating, what's moving the heartbeat. Now, I don't know that I have scientific proof to support that, but I had that experience. And then it was almost, for many years, I just sort of assumed that everyone knew that the soul is what was animating the heartbeat. And it took me some time to realize that not everyone was having these sort of experiences. And then I had other experiences just in studying the anatomy of the heart and having it, in a way, wake up to the intimacy of my focus and my attention and respond by almost like in a see-feeling way. I could feel the actual sentience of my heart. And so again, I was very touched by this. And then I started to have other experiences of other parts of my anatomy that when I studied them, they would wake up, they would light up, they would reveal their sentient intelligence. So this was way before I even knew about continuum, and largely what informs me in my sharing with you today. These were just experiences, I think, that were starting to show the way. But I say them in that I hold a prayer that as we go in and we do start to touch various aspects of our anatomy, that we all have this capacity for this quality of intimacy with our soma. And my feeling and experience is that when we do, we dissolve that whole subject-object separation. We can come into a unified field with our organism. And really, I feel that we are God in a body, each of us, a unique cell in the larger body. And I think we have this potential to awaken as that, to live as that, to share and engage as that. And so we can participate in the dissolution, the dissolve, the melting of the ways that we separate from ourselves. Right? Like, probably you've all noticed if you're having a painful experience, either physically or emotionally, there can be a tendency to want to defend against it. to separate from it, to try to figure out why or what or who's to blame. And so there's a learning process for many of us of how to actually come back in, befriend, relax with, get curious, and open ourselves to our human experience and all that's here. And in that way, we start to expand and include and become more of what we are. It's like flexing our love muscles. And then there's a kind of like a foreground background change or shift where I am no longer so much perceived as the one who is separate, but I am the one that is the space that can allow, that can stay, that can be with. And I think this is really useful for personally and also collectively right now, right? So just, I wanted to speak a little bit to some context with the heart and the nervous system. So some of the verbiage in my invitation to this experience here is from survival pace to living presence. And I just want to name that. I'm sure you're all familiar at this point with what survival pace is. But I think it's helpful to understand, in part, this is a speed, a pacing that we inherited through generations and generations and generations of survival, of trauma, of this experience of feeling separate from ourselves, from each other, from nature, from God, that elicits the nervous system, that recruits the nervous system into a kind of a chronic fear and vigilance, where we've forgotten that we're connected and we belong and we're a part of a larger intelligence. And so it feels like it's all me. It's all on me to figure it out, to do the thing, to make the thing happen. And then we look around and most everyone else is kind of in that grind, rather than living as openness, as nature, as belonging itself. And so when we're in that trance, really, of that facet of the nervous system, everything is friend or foe. Every experience, internally, externally, there's a vigilance of like, is this for me? Is this against me? Do I need to run or fight or freeze? Or, we get into that ancient survival part of our brains. And we lose connection with the heart. So I think it's important with compassion just to understand that when that neurology is recruited, you can feel it viscerally. It's like you're up here. And often there's a kind of a squeeze at the root, and the breath is shallow and in the upper chest, and it's not breathing low into the belly. And maybe the mind is racing, and there's a kind of an elevated heart rate, a speed to the system. And frontal vision, we're out here trying to figure out the what and the why and the how. So what's happening there is we're literally shutting down the field of the heart. We can't perceive it. It's not perceptible when that nervous system gets recruited. So I think with compassion, I just invite you all to consider, living on planet Earth and being human, there's no guarantee of our safety in terms of the world and what the world is offering. And so it's not a safe place, exactly, and we can create relative safety in ourselves where we're safe enough and can let down that vigilance and can start to choose to live from our hearts as our first priority of attention. And I think all of you here and all of you listening, you've had enough direct experience of knowing that when you live from here and you listen from here and you respond from here, things go better, right? We make wiser choices. We have more fulfilling experiences. We don't create so much karma. And so we have enough experience to know that that's actually the evolutionary challenge. It's how this stage of life actually is conspiring to grow us. Now, that's my perceptual view. You can take it on if you like. I think we all have to find our perceptual context of how we make meaning, because in truth, we're just this gorgeous orb of lots of water and space and crystal and fire floating in the middle of the universe, and nobody really knows exactly what we're doing here. But from what I can tell, there's an evolutionary opportunity. And the more that we spend time choosing to be human in the heart first, so prior to my history, prior to my, before my self-constructs, before my self-images, before all of my narration, I can be me in my heart first. So it's simple, but it's not always easy to undo this habit, right, of the cultural anatomy of what we've learned for survival, for safety. So as we go into our dive today, I just want to say these are very profound opportunities to explore, to practice in your own laboratory, of your own system, what's right for you. So I'll do my best to guide us, and I just invite you to honor your space and your timing and follow my guidance if it feels good. If your intelligence takes you somewhere else, go with that. But these dives are really what we call in this work a dive, where we dive in. It's an opportunity to, in a way, explore, for a period of time, disidentifying with that more cultural anatomy of who we take ourselves to be, and that very tried and true neural networks that are well grooved in us. And we start to make new inroads into this more primordial nervous system. And my sense is that the heart is that. It's the location in our human systems that is designed to be in resonance with nature. It's breathing with nature, with the biological field. And that field has a slower rhythm. We can measure it. In the biodynamic cranial work I've been involved with for a long time, we would call that the long tide or the fluid tide. You can see and palpate these rhythms in the ocean, hugging a tree. If you sit still long enough, you can watch a little green sprout growing. These are much slower rhythms than the technology and all of the things that we're entrained with in our modern world. But the heart has that innately wired in. It's there. It may be more dormant for some of us, but we can resuscitate it. So the more time we spend actually just resting, being in the heart space, getting to know ourselves there, then that field is supported. That field becomes more coherent, stronger. It starts being what is the prime conductor, if you will, of your system. And it can become more spontaneous, more accessible. So I want to just read you briefly. This is I think a very well encapsulating piece on what the heart is. And then we'll start to dive into more of an experience. This is from one of my biodynamic teachers who wrote a book called Stillness. And he says, this is Charles Ridley, he says, your heart is a multidimensional organ that is central to every aspect of your functioning, physical, psychic, and spiritual. Your heart is not only the organ through which moves the blood, It is a nonlinear electromagnetic generator that emanates a holographic field that contains the encoded information about how your body is formed, its history, its present function, and its future evolutionary imperative. The heart, as an endocrine gland, releases hormones that regulate bodily function. The heart produces neurotransmitters that synchronize the central, autonomic, and enteric nervous systems. So that's your gut brain, your central nervous system, and your gut brain. That interconnects the entire somatic system of your body directly to the brain, both to the newer frontal cortex and the older limbic system. The heart senses electromagnetic waves that emanate from as far out as infinity and to as infinitesimal as the molecules comprising each cell in your body. And as such, the heart is an organ of perception that coherently maintains balance both with the universal holographic matrix and within the depths of your personal bodily matrix. The heart receives, processes, and responds to a complex series of holographic electromagnetic patterns that as signals contain encoded information as hormonal, neurochemical, immune, bioelectric, magnetic, and chemical messages, as well as information about temperature, blood pressure, and blood flow to the brain. And throughout the body as one unit, it monitors and adjusts the status of your body's physiology and synchronizes it with the environment and with the internal milieu. This includes assisting the passage of red blood cells through the tiny capillaries by decreasing the diameter of the red blood cells, while at the same time increasing the diameter of the capillaries in a whole body-wide rhythmic dance that defies understanding. All of these varied functions of the heart, when combined, strive to maintain coherent function and health, which sets the tone for the way in which you think and how well, and what and how you feel, which cumulatively determines the quality of your consciousness. In short, your heart is an organ of perception that conducts the symphony that is your life. So I know that was a mouthful, but I think you kind of feel the transmission of just like the holy wow of what the heart is up to. Yeah. All right. So I just want to, I guess, leave you all with an inquiry as we go into more of a somatic practice in a moment. If we're not living from survival pace, and I'm imagining you're all here because you're interested in setting that system down and living more from your heart, from your soul, from who you are, present time. I discovered a while back kind of a term that I think works really well to hold this possibility, and it's living from the pace of our presence. You know, can I live at the pace? Can I live my life? Can I conduct my life? Can I make the choices where I'm not choosing so much for myself that I'm overwhelmed and I lose my presence? Can I actually live at the pace where I maintain presence? Because really, that's what is satisfying and fulfilling. I remember there was a point in my life where I was so busy, I was so full, I was just running around all the time. And I was so sad inside because I wasn't showing up with my full presence for anyone or anything, including myself. And it just felt like, well, what is the point? You know, and sometimes we call this burnout, right? We burn out, we lose the plot. So I just offer you that possibility to discover what that is for you, to live from the pace of your own presence, where you're choosing appropriately for yourself, not too much, not too little. This can mean literally like how you schedule yourself. And it can also mean, what do you need every day to fill up your well so that presence isn't a concept? It's an embodied, felt experience. You are present. You are here in your heart, in your belly, in your core, and you're ready. You're overflowing with your fullness, right? So that's different for all of us. We have different lives. It takes a kind of self-attunement and a self-honor and a self-respect to discover what that means for you. In the work that I offer, a lot of it is about giving people an opportunity to find a new baseline. Because for many of us, our baseline, in meaning like our default mode where we come from, actually has to be reset. You know, for many of us, there's a process of kind of dissolving the old system that maybe we've been running for a number of decades that's more that survival system. And we have to take some time to let those old identities, those self-constructs, those survival mechanisms, we have to let them melt and find a new stillness, a rest point where filling up your well also isn't a concept. It's like we actually feel the nourishment of our own presence. So let today be, you know, for each of you, wherever you are in that journey, explore it as a discovery of that intimacy with where are you in that sort of map I'm describing, and hopefully some deeper meeting, you know, with your heart, your being, that will guide you. So any questions before I start to take us into more of an experience? I know I went on for a bit, so any questions, anything anybody wants to presence? Okay. I think you're all familiar, have been with me in some capacity where you're somewhat familiar with the practice, with working with touch, working with our sounds, and working with bringing our awareness to meet our touch and our sounds, and the sort of the inner alchemy of how we can literally start to melt some of where this compression lives in the body. Because it all lives in the body. I mean, that's the beautiful thing, is we can actually meet ourselves in a very real way. So I'm not going to go into a bunch of explanation about why we're doing what we're doing with the sound and the touch. I think I'll just start to take us. I'm going to start us seated, and we may eventually lie down for a little bit. So I just want to say, do you all have space to do that where you are? Doesn't have to be anything fancy. And if you don't, it's okay. Maybe just space to lie back, sit back. Okay. So just beginning in this seated position, I'd say what's important is just, you know, sit in such a way you can feel your sit bones. Maybe take a moment and just rock back and forth a little, so that out of that space you can feel your spine. There's room for your spine to grow taller. And then just let yourself have whatever you need to be supported. And go ahead and close the eyes and just start to allow your attention to come on the inside. Meeting your breath, I'll just take a few deep breaths, just really elongating the exhales, letting them take you down and in, just releasing any excess tension or holding. Feeling your sit bones on the seat, feeling the ground beneath your seat. Starting to feel the earth supporting you, your relationship to gravity just starting to sink into that. Shoulders relaxing, unhinging the jaw, melting the eyes inward. And just starting to notice a little more intimately the presence of your nervous system right now. How's the breath flowing? Where's the breath flowing? You sense some pulsations of heartbeat and blood flow. Various tensions or compressions or places that feel open, just starting to get a global sense of awareness. Just breathing, expanding into your whole system and exhaling, softening into the ground. And just letting all those little tendrils, little vigilant little radars that tend to go off around the body, propriocepting where you are, perhaps orienting to the past or the future. Just with each breath, inviting yourself here. And just bringing in this inquiry of where am I? Where am I in relation to the field of my heart? And just letting that inquiry support you to start to locate yourself more into the space of the heart. Maybe you were off to the right or the left or the top or the down. Just starting to breathe yourself more in through the center of the chest. And exhaling out through the center of the chest. Locating yourself more and more breath by breath. Feeling you in your heart space arriving. And just noticing without judgment, whatever degree you sense yourself here. Just kind of taking a snapshot of that, how you feel in your body right now, how you feel in your emotional body right now. And if it feels true for you, as we start to bring in some sound, just see if you can also bring in a feeling of your desire, like what I want for myself and showing up and meeting myself right now is, perhaps a deeper intimacy with your heart, with your love, with your presence. Perhaps there's something that wants to heal, or just getting a sense of what you want for yourself. And then we're going to just bring the hands to cross over your shoulders. And if you can, come under your clothes so you have a little skin to skin contact. If that works for you, just let the weight of your arms rest over your chest. So hands crossed, holding the top of the shoulders, arms resting on the chest. You should feel a little bit like the weight of your arms is pulling your shoulders down. And we're just going to explore for a little bit some very slow micro neck rolls, just micro rotation of the neck in both directions. And the key here is going very, very, very slow. So we're going to move at the pace of our breath. So I invite you to breathe in to the center. You can almost imagine like your chest is a wheel, and in the very center is your heart. And then all the spokes that go out are going to be the little tiny spots that we land on with the breath and with our neck moving. So to begin, just taking a nice deep breath into the chest and letting your head slightly exhale and fall forward. And you can allow that kind of yogic ujjayi breath, so you hear a little bit of the sound of the breath in the back of the throat. And then inhaling through the heart, and as you exhale, just slightly allowing the head like a little micro centimeter to fall to the right as you exhale. And breathing back into the center of the chest. And exhaling out, just falling out a little further to the right. So in your own way, just following your breath. Breathing in from the center, exhaling out, finding your way. These little tiny micro movements. You should start to feel some space opening up around the neck, shoulders, base of the skull. Just really bringing your full attention into this breath micro movement. And as you start to get a little sense of the rhythm of this, let your eyes follow the movement. So as you find that next little micro spot out on the wheel and you're falling in that direction, let your eyes stretch with you. So looking in the direction that your neck is moving. And just finding your way, a full circle, slowly, slowly. If you find little sticky spots, you can hang out there longer. There's no hurry. You can go back and forth over that sticky spot, taking a few breaths there. You might feel little adjustments, little places unwinding around the neck, base of the skull, just letting whatever wants to happen, happen here. And once you've gone all the way around in one direction, you can explore in the other direction. Just slowly again, slowly, slowly. Little exhales out into those micro movements. Breathing into your center, exhaling out as you slowly, slowly let the neck roll, the eyes rolling with it. And you can do another round, just gently exploring wherever, whichever way your neck wants to move, just very slowly again, sensing another pass through, hanging out in any little sticky spots, really letting the neck stretch in that direction. Let the arms pull down on the chest, stretching the eyes, looking the eyes in that direction. And really just opening up that whole internal space. Eyes, back of the skull, down into the shoulders. And then just eventually allowing the head to find little circles that are more closer into the spine. Just letting little circles, the eyes continuing to follow. It's like you're just playing with a little bit of a smaller wheel. Bringing that focus closer in, the eyes looking down and in. Following your movements down and in and all around, going in both directions. And eventually, here in your own timing, just letting the hands come to rest over the heart. And we'll just take a moment to allow some open attention, just sitting in stillness and letting your attention be open and wide. Just breathing nice, deep, full breaths into any new places that are opening up inside. Hopefully you're feeling more space through the neck, shoulders, down the arms, up through the eyes, spreading through the brain. You can let your hands come all the way to rest in your lap. And just noticing what's occurring in your breath, any global shifts in the quality of your breath. Perhaps breathing deeper or lower in the body, deeper, fuller belly breaths. And just breathing into any new sensations where you feel some pleasure, some openness, spaciousness. Enjoying any new inroads. Perhaps noticing more heat in the body, more warmth, more life force. So just appreciating whatever you're noticing. And now we're going to take the hands to come to rest on the back body around the kidneys. So if you can find a comfortable fit and just completely letting the hands melt into the kidneys, the adrenals. It's that area right below your rib cage. In Chinese medicine, there's a lot of correlation between the heart and the kidney qi. So we're going to kind of juice up our kidneys and adrenals. This is also an area that in that more survival nervous system, we tend to run a lot of adrenal cortisol energy. So how this next phase is going to work is we're going to bring in some humming sounds, and we're going to just let the head similarly, very, very slowly, micro movements. We're going to just let the head and the weight of the head descend downwards towards your lap. Just letting the head fall as far as it can, and then we're going to hum the head back up. So we'll just go through a few rounds. This is a kind of like an embryonic spiraling in, just like we did as little embryos, the head curling in towards the heart, and then a little spiraling open. So just going as far down as your body will let you. Let your head completely hang as far down, and you should feel some nice opening in the back heart, back of the neck, back body. And then just slowly coming back up. So we'll go a few rounds, and the humming sound is something like this. So getting that sound going and then just slowly, slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, letting the head slowly descend. And whenever you come to the bottom, or as far as your body can fall, just let yourself hang out there a little bit, almost like you're going into your cave and just resting at the bottom. And you can let the sound relax. And then eventually you'll know when your head wants to come up again, and just slowly humming the head back up. And as you rise up, you can let the head lift all the way up and look towards the heavens. You can keep the eyes closed, but just that sense of looking up, gesturing up, stretching up, letting the back arch a little bit, completely opening upwards. And then again, you'll know when the head wants to return to that descent. So we're just playing with this descending and ascending current a little bit longer in your own pacing and timing. So eventually here you can come to your rising seated position and just taking a moment to let the shoulders drop, the head to rest. And again, allowing some open attention, just sensing now any new fluid spaces, open spaces through the spine, back of the heart, chest, shoulders. And even just allowing a little free movement in your body if that feels good, if there's any little subtle adjustments or alignments that want to take place. The body will often just do its own, just let that happen very systemically, just little natural releases and reorganizations. So just being here with your breath, your presence, open attention. Nice deep full breaths expanding into any new spaces of aliveness, warmth, pleasure. We might sense your heart rate slowing down, nervous system settling, more of a quality of quiet or inner coherence starting to emerge. Feeling yourself more and more completely here, absorbed in your direct experience, in your body. So just appreciating, expanding, and including more and more of you. So this next piece I want to bring in, perhaps some of you worked with this before, the ma om sound. And I just want to say a little bit about it before we go into it. So you can work with this not only in the sound vibration, but also in almost like a mythopoetic way. So the ma sound is very much an energy of invoking the mother, invoking the Shakti, the feminine essence quality of life, the animating force that really is the love. It's nature. It's the expression of love as creativity, as beauty. So we often associate that as the feminine, the Sophia. So when we bring in the Ma, we're invoking that. We're invoking that feminine principle, that feminine quality within ourselves, regardless of our gender. And it's almost like we're praising that in the garden of our own being, and we're praising that in life itself. And then the Om is more of the Shiva, or the masculine, the quality that represents the universal ground of stillness, silence. It's the ground that allows Shakti to come forth, allows love to move as the expression of life. So the Om sound represents that universal backdrop, that timeless space, quality of space. So bringing these two together in the heart is really like an invocation of your own inner union, the inner marriage of those qualities within you, and also praising them in nature all around us. So we'll be with the vibration, Ma Om. I'll bring it through in various ways, and you can just join me in your own way. Don't worry about getting this right or wrong. Really, we just want to feel that vibration in the space of the heart. So I invite you to bring your hands here and just start to connect with the felt sense of your hands touching your heart receiving your touch, dropping your attention completely, being absorbed in this feeling. You can even for a moment just slightly press in with your touch so you really feel it, and then letting go, letting the hands soften. And in this next sounding of the Ma Om, just really connecting with your heart and these inner qualities of space and contact, Shiva and Shakti. These are the core, the sort of the essence of the play of duality on this planet, what gives rise to creation. And it is our heart that has the capacity to perceive that and to live in the paradox of being both infinite and finite, vast and infinitesimal. So as we drop in, just hello, my beautiful heart. Inviting this deeper connection. Hello, my beautiful heart. Taking a moment just to appreciate your heart. All the ways you care, you love, you feel. Thanking your heart. Thanking you for your precious humanity and divinity. This miracle of being alive. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me alive, my beautiful heart. Whatever is alive for you as praise, as gratitude. And when you're ready, we're going to start to go. We'll just spend a little time here, Ma Om, invoking all that I just named. So completely allowing the thinking mind to just become background, allowing your feeling body, your vibrational body, your frequency body, the field of the heart to become foreground, just completely absorbed in your touch, your sound. And just a little bit longer, bringing in your curiosity, a playful spirit, playing with different shapes in the mouth, the tongue, the and the ah and the om and the just exploring the different tones, feeling how the vibration is touching in with your heart, your chest, pericardium, expanding the breath, opening the body. And when you're ready, you can just allow the sound to start to come to a pause. And just allowing some open attention. So open attention is literally how it sounds. Attention is just global, open, receptive, like we're just receiving ourselves. Breathing in and out of the heart space, receiving all the different tissues and tendons and bones and fluids. Letting the breath open and deepen into any new spaces that are emerging inside, new spaces of pleasure, warmth, aliveness. Taking a moment to just let go of anything you no longer need, just letting that fall off the body, fall out the breath. Softening around any areas that still show up as tension or hardness or density. And if you can, I want to just, we're going to start to come in towards some integration. If you can, lie back or lie down, whatever feels right for you. Just if you can let your back body be supported in some way, just letting that happen. And we're just going to take a little time now as we lie back, just to really let the earth support you. Let that sense of gravity holding you, ground holding you, rising up to meet you, having your weight. Just let yourself be held. Any places that are unwinding, reorganizing, they have more of a chance to do that if we just really let ourselves be held. So each exhale, just dropping the weight a little bit more, letting gravity have you. And each in-breath, deepening down into the belly, into the perineum. Maybe resting a hand on the belly, resting a hand on the heart. Encouraging your breath to expand all the way down and then to rise all the way up on your in-breath, and then this sense of falling down into the earth, into the space behind you as you exhale. And really just feeling that heart space we've been touching in with, letting your heart really have the ground to rest right now. There's no one you have to be, nothing you have to do, nothing to figure out. Just letting each exhale take you deeper into this sense of almost like you're melting into the earth, the mother's lap, the mother's womb. Letting yourself be like an innocent child, that original innocence where we come from the earth, we are of the earth. All our needs are taken care of. All our needs are known. We are guided and supported. We belong. And it's safe right now just to let yourself be nourished by the prana, the oxygen within each breath, the nourishment of your own relaxed presence. Feeling your connection to the natural world out beyond your walls. As you exhale, those tall trees are breathing in. As the trees exhale, you're breathing their breath. Just letting yourself relax into that symbiotic rapport. And if there's any areas you're aware of that still feel tight or dense, or there's pain or constriction, or even numbness, see if you can just gently find a way to hold those places, either with your hands or with your attention, and just letting them know that they're safe to be here. There's room in your wholeness for all the flavors, all the textures of your particular human embodiment. If there's movements in the mind and the nervous system still occurring that feel like they're coming out of a kind of a stress unwinding, just again letting them feel held, supported. Just continuing to breathe, to soften, to let down. Just giving yourself a lot of kindness and permission to allow your experience, to receive yourself here. No need to judge what's arising, just exploring what it is to allow. And just a few more breaths, even deeper than allowing, exploring what it is to love, to just really love yourself as you are right now. This most intimate primary relationship you'll ever have. So if you like, you can just let your ankles cross and your arms cross over your chest, and we'll just take a few more breaths, just kind of cocooning, sealing the energy, appreciating this kind of wellspring of your own warmth, your own love, your own presence. Soaking in that vibration, that nourishment. And as you're just resting in this inner space of your own presence of being, just listening, seeing if there's any new awareness, any messages, anything that's here for you to receive, to take back into your life, anything you've discovered today, learned about yourself. And just letting whatever is here to be known, to become known, naming it to yourself, for yourself. And then as you're ready, we're going to just start to come back, just rubbing the hands together, generating a little more heat, and just bringing some touch wherever you need it. Little massages, little squeezes. So taking your time, and eventually we'll find our way back to our circle, but take your time. If you want to roll your body a little bit, little stretches, whatever feels good, drink some water, just gently, slowly finding our way. And we'll do a little closing circle here. Okay. I'm noticing I still have lots of things I'd love to share with you, but maybe for another time. I think for now, let's just have a little check-in. I'm just curious. Sometimes it's helpful to just bring ourselves fully back and integrate by just sharing a little bit. If there's anything you want to name from that experience, anything that stands out, or that last part where I asked you to just see if there was a message or some kind of inner guidance or new awareness. Sometimes that's helpful to name that and anchor that. Or anything else that feels relevant. Just welcome you to share if you like.
I can share.
Hi, Colleen.
Hi. Sorry, my voice is a little quiet right now.
Yeah.
That thing that you said about this is if I'm remembering it right, the primordial, most intimate relationship, the heart. And I just felt this like, yeah, even more intimate than being a mom, and that I have infinite amount of chances because I've always had this feeling of like I only had so many chances with my sons. and they're grown and they're men now. But I have all these chances with myself, with my heart.
Mm,
And that was so beautiful.
mm,
What a revelation.
mm,
And chances to just really know myself and to be intimate, and, not to get it right, but just to be with. And and then also the sense of, or the guidance that this is so worth generating everything, generating life, generating money, generating time for this kind of intimacy
mm,
with myself.
mm,
Like if I can remember, as I remember, to be with my heart and to listen to what's really here,
mm,
that I can find the drive or the force sort of behind that. Yeah. Thank you.
That's so, so beautiful.
Yeah, it was so profound. I'm really grateful, Ajay.
mm,
Wow.
mm. I'm so grateful. I'm so touched. Thank you. Mhm. Mm, mm. Yes, Karina.
So when you asked us to touch a part of ourselves through the neck exercise, I really felt such tension in a specific part of the back of my head. And then later, towards the end, you asked us to touch that part. And I literally just felt this connection. And I said, we are safe. And I just let out just tears and tears. And just this awareness of how much I need to do this just to show up for this, for my body, for me, releasing something that who knows how long I've been holding on to there.
Mm,
And and today I really needed to hear my body. I really needed to hear that I'm safe. And to hear that confirmation of that release, that affirmation of we're safe.
mm,
Just as you said earlier, I think we all are in awareness that we're not in the no one can guarantee us our safety, but we're safe.
mhm,
And when you asked us to just listen, really listen, and I got from my body a thank you.
mm,
Just thank you. And I think it's just thank you for the connection. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for feeling, for connecting,
mhm,
you know. We have our whole world inside of us,
mhm,
and as Colleen was saying, a whole world to connect with, right? And to show up for and to ourselves.
mm,
Thank you.
mm. I'm so happy for you, Karina. Thank you. I love what you got to meet in yourself. So beautiful. This
Yeah,
attunement, really just coming into this deeper rapport of giving yourself what you need. That's it.
exactly.
That's how the safety arises, is we give it to ourselves. Mhm.
I'm always focused on giving it to others, and it's so nice to show up and
Mm,
give that same love to
mm. Mm-hmm.
And presence.
Mm-hmm.
Just thank you for presence. My body said, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Mm. I so appreciate this intimate sharing here. So welcome anyone else that wants to share. And there's no performance, nothing that has to happen here, really just from your heart, whatever's true.
I'll share a little, Ajay. I don't feel I have a whole lot of words, and it's pretty late here. But I think what I'm really present to is a kind of tenderness, and really got to experience at the beginning a sense that my heart was just very small, but now it feels not so much. I just have this experience of space around my heart, but it's not empty space. It's like a softness, and I wouldn't say it's a new message or a new knowing, but a really helpful reminder that just the power of actually giving something time and attention, rather than, I think you said at the beginning, which would be my mode, to when something comes up, to think about it and analyze it and try and understand it, which is all a way of really defending against it. But just the power of even taking 10 or 15 minutes to give whatever it is my attention. So I'm just very grateful for this offering, and for everybody's sharing. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Chris. And
Yeah.
what time is it where you are? Sometime in the evening? 9 or 10 or? Yeah. I can't hear you now, but I appreciate your
Between 9:30 and 10. I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
sure what time it is. Yeah.
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 I often do these calls at 12 Pacific because then Europe it's not too late for, it kind of works. It's an
Yeah.
interesting thing to make it work for all the time zones. But anyways,
Yeah. No, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
okay. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to speak? I know it's always interesting to try to speak after going into these kind of
Is my voice
journeys.
coming? Is my voice
Yes.
coming?
Yes, is that Maxine?
Yeah,
We
I've been having an adventure with this new computer because there were points where I could barely hear you. It was really soft, and I put it on loudest, and it was still soft. And then I played with something, and all of a sudden I couldn't hear any sound at all, and it was cut out.
oh gosh.
Anyway, it was crazy. But the thing I'd most like to say, Ajay, is it's a transmission I get from you that I've consistently gotten, but more recently, to remind myself to feel held by the universe, by existence. Recently, you offered some guided visualization or meditation or whatever it was, and it just went right through because in my identity, I feel so contracted and like I don't belong. It's this old, deep childhood attachment wounding. And just being reminded that I am part of existence, that the space around me is embracing me, that the sky is embracing me, that the earth, it just something in me just melts. And I feel such a gratitude to you for that transmission.
I'm so happy to hear that, Maxine. I'm so glad. Thank you. And may that just deepen for
Really,
you.
really,
Yes, in every way.
really.
Yes.
I remember from, I think during COVID, you offered something, and I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but I think you said something like, my name is Ajaya and I am here. And I remember, my name is Maxine and I'm here. It was just like, oh, wow. This claiming of one's presence and one's existence. It's so simple and so profound.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. And I'm going to have to look into the sound stuff with my computer. But anyway,
Yes, and
thank
we
you.
can see sort of like a shadow of you there.
And I need to also get some instruction on how to
Yes.
play with that for future.
Yes.
So anyway, thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Maxine. Sending you a big hug and so much love.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thanks.
Mm. Well, if it feels like we're complete, that can be so. Maxine was referring to sometimes I have us do these statements that actually are another way to open the heart, to access the heart. And I thought about doing that today, but it's kind of like there's only so many things you can do in an hour and a half or so. But maybe I'll do another one sometime soon. And I am going to be putting out within the next month more information for people who are interested in joining me in more of a committed group field. What I really love is having some consistent container where we show up together and we deepen in intimacy with each other and with the work and with ourselves. So I'll probably do one more of these kind of free open events just to sort of check like getting the pulse and reading the pulse and feeling who's here. But I just want you to know if you are interested in having somewhat of a regular, not just somewhat, a regular meeting, it'll be a couple times a month that we'll meet. And every month there's a different theme. There's so many different themes to unpack in terms of exploring embodiment and what I like to call embodied awakening, really awakening to what I am, developmentally, evolutionarily, relationally. There's so many facets to being human and to being fully realized and being here. And as far as I can tell, that's the point, right? Why we take on incarnation is to really just, like Colleen was saying, this precious opportunity to keep meeting ourselves, discovering what I am, letting go of what I'm not, expanding to include more of me. It's endless, the deepening, as far as in my experience. And there's a way that when we have a group field, you could feel that a little bit today. You all don't know each other at all. And here we've had this intimate experience. But when over time, it's like there's a way we're sacred mirrors to each other. We're all holding different pieces of the mirror of the sacred. So anyways, just want you to know there's more. There's deeper, there's further. If you're interested, I'll start rolling that out in the next few weeks. And just so grateful for you all showing up and being live together today. Really, really precious time with you. Yeah. So enjoy living as the love that you are. Enjoy it. Yeah, until soon.
Thank you all. Thank you, Jaya.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.